want to be specific to an industry? You could give an example of a case study.
A lot of what I am doing right now is executive coaching.
Executive coaching, how do people find you or come to you? Who's an ideal client to get executive coaching from you?
So I've been working with mid-level executives that have been identified as high potential or have an interest in really kind of moving up within the organization. So I typically go through a 360 process with them. They get feedback from, the employees that report to them, their peers, their bosses, and then they get to provide it to, their own perspective. So I go through all of that feedback and then help them identify a couple of areas that they can, really be proud of as their strengths. And then help them put together their elevator speech or their sales story about what they're really good at. On the flip side, I also help them identify, based on all of that feedback and where they want to go, what they've shared of their story, and identifying a couple of opportunities for them to work at. So sometimes when you go through kind of the 360 or the feedback process, it's really hard to narrow what you want to work on and why, how. All of that, because it's really overwhelming. There's a lot of points of feedback.
Give an example.
You could have 10 things that have been identified as important in your organization and important for you to work on in order to be prepared for the next level. Well, 10 things it could be really overwhelming. Where do I start? How do I do it, et cetera. So we try to just narrow it to maybe 2. Let's look at 2 of those. It could be anything from, improving your strategic view or your strategic approach. So what does that mean? I mean, a lot of leaders really focus on being action-oriented. They're really good at their job and really good at delivering results in one particular area. Well, it takes to be a really good mid-level manager is very different than what it would take to be a really good executive. The mid-level manager focuses on driving results in a particular area or a department or function. An executive focuses more on a strategic view. Can you look across the organization? Can you look at the business direction and put together a strategy? Can you help contribute to other areas that are outside of yours? Do you look at, budgeting, and can you look at more of a long-term view, implementation or change around that? So those are some areas, in particular, strategic agility and planning and forecasting, budgeting. All of those areas are difficult for mid-level managers to help develop in order to be prepared for that executive level. So the more that we could help kind of drill that down, give them some concrete examples about how to work on it, and then, help them really kind of see through the feedback objectively.